Hello guys, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on the time you're listening to this special podcast today. Welcome to Let's Talk About, podcast where we normally talk about the issues that affect us in our society and culture. I'm your host, Manuel Scott Fataki, and as usual, as always, in this show we normally share tips, we talk about strategies, we share conversations and research to help you become the person you want to be in the relationship you want to be in. We are talking about any kind or form of relationship, be it in the church setup, in the family setup, or work-related, and etc., etc. So, guys, today we're talking about dating and marriage. We are talking about relationships, but the subtopic is dating and marriage because we realized in our previous episode, people are confused. They are so confused about the word dating, relationship, courtship, and marriage. So people have so many ideas about what dating is, courtship is. So I went to the dictionary and checked some definitions. Like as we shared last week, relationship is the state of being connected. But now, since today we're talking about dating and marriage, of course we can't just talk about marriage without courtship. So dating is the stage of romantic relationship where the couples meet socially to see if they stand a chance to be around each other. And courtship is a relationship between a man and a woman in its early development stage, whereby they get to know each other and develop a deep relationship so that they could purposefully explore the possibility of marriage. Now, guys, of course, I can't handle this topic alone. It's so beyond me, I'm just like you. We're trying to learn more about this topic. So today we decided to have a triplet, a trio. This is the best setup of guests we've ever had so far. We have two powerful men of God that God is using in this current generation. When they talk, if you have some evil spirits in you, my friend, demons will tremble. So we are going to, and we also have the Archbishop from last episode. You guys laughed that. We read your comments and your feedback and your reviews. They were powerful, awesome. So they are going to introduce themselves again. We are ladies first. Ladies first, of course. Ladies first.
Hello again. My name is Olive. I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for all your comments. I hope that we will be of benefit to you this time round.
Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Pastor Paminas here. I'm under the bishop that I'm about to give the microphone. He's my senior. Karibu sana.
Hello, I don't know where the bishop is, but I'm glad to be here. And I'm hoping that we can learn. I would have said hello once again, but I've never been here before. So my name is Pastor James. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pastor James, Pastor Pamnas, and our sister Olive. Pastor Pamnas likes calling her Archbishop, just a nickname, though she is not yet an Archbishop. But in the near future, who knows? Who knows? We never know. So, guys, you know what? Love is not just a feeling, it's an emotion. But over the years, people have twisted the idea of love and romance and have totally mixed up the concept of dating and courting. So everyone has his own idea about this topic. But we are going to talk about it in details. And we received quite a number of questions. Yes, quite a number of questions. That means you really listen to the podcast and you really want to find some solutions in these questions, in this area of life, because everyone, except if you have the calling of Paul, if you're not Paul, you're Peter and the rest, so you want to get married one day. So that's why you sent these questions. So we have this first question. What is the difference between dating and courting?
After Pastor James, PhD, ESC has spoken, and after Archbishop has spoken, I don't know what to say. But let me try and look at it from my own perspective. Like, here is a lion looking at antelopes. Then he's trying to chase. Then he looked at that antelope and tried to chase that antelope, but that lion did not get that antelope. Now, the antelope that this lion will get, number one, atauma hapa kwa shingo. So, akiuma hapa kwa shingo, I would say that is the process of courtship. Alafu akianza kukula, that is now marriage. That's how I would look at it. But now, kukimbia kutafuta, hata kama atakosa ya kwanza ama akosa ya pili, that is what I would say dating. You understand? For me, that's how I would look at it. Kwamba you will not necessarily marry someone that you dated. But now, I would not advise you to court and then not marry. That if you start a process of courting, then it should end into marriage. Unless basi uko mkukue na kitu. But also, not all people that court people will end up marrying them. Because unaweza fika kwa mahali kwa kumbuka, kumbe hawa watu sikuwa nimejua. Hawa watu kumbe wanakuanga ni wachawi kwao na this one anaenda kuinherit uchawi. So I wouldn't, you understand? Maybe wataenda wamseme now you are going to inherit uchawi. Now utakuwa the sasa wanakuingiza wewe sasa, because this is going to be mchawiness, you are going to be mchawi man in this family. You understand? I'm just giving an example. So for me, I'm looking at dating as something that I've spotted, like maybe I'm giving an example. I've spotted Irene's there. I've seen another lady, Yvonne is there. I've seen Veronica. I've seen Francine. I've seen all those names. And now maybe I don't know them. I don't know their temperaments as a people. I've just seen them, and when a lion is hungry, every antelope that lion sees is food, potential food. You understand? It is potential, because you see now kuna zile unaonanga that can be food, lakini that one no. You understand? But it is potential food. You understand? So that animal is hungry. Na naangalia naona kuna potential kwamba naweza shika ule nikakula, naweza shika ule I can try. But sasa ile unaanza kukimbia as a lion, that one is too fast for me. I can't get that one. That one is too slow. Ninaweza kushika. This one is weak. This one akona a lot of fat, and I want fat. You understand? I'm giving an example. So, your process ya dating, maybe mimi naweza sema pengine I may go out and just here. Dating does not necessarily mean that uende ukae kwa hoteli, mkae na mtu. You can just be walking with someone, even just trying to know, just as friends, getting to know.
So, pause.
Yes.
You're saying you can just go out dating as friends. That is already going back to friendship. It's not dating.
No, let me try and like a friend can date a friend. It doesn't have to lead to courtship. Getting to know some things about this person before you make some commitments of engaging that person, so that you can go into that process of courtship and later on marriage. Kwa sababu courtship hiyo ndio wakati unaenda kwa introductions and stuff like that. So you're already courting. You go, you inform your pastor first, you inform your parents, you inform your brothers, you inform your sisters. At least you see, when you see me, I would not disclose kwa urahisi to someone. I'm going on a date with this one. I'll be spreading rumors kwamba Paminas is doing something which is not happening. But if I am courting someone, then I think it would be right for me to go to Pastor James and I tell them, Pastor James, I'm courting this young lady. Nisaidie nisimame mara as a man, so that at least ukiniona naenda try and find out what is happening with me. Ukiona tuko na hii, unajua tu Paminas, you told me you are doing this. If you see me trying to go somewhere else, warn me, Paminas, you are committed here. You understand? So he keeps me in check. But you see now, someone that I'm trying to know, to date, to go and just have a cup of coffee with, and try to understand how do they think. Because you see, unless I sit down with this person, I can never understand how she thinks, how she talks, what are her plans. And maybe I have standards as a person. I want to marry someone that is born again, for example. And I cannot tell by just looking at that person like this. Maybe I need to sit down. Someone would come to church, but their their mindset and their way of thinking is completely different. Someone may be lifting their hands worshiping, but the heart is very dirty. You understand? So just to go and sit down. There is someone that I was dating in Kitambo, and then there is a statement that person said that threw me off, and I said, this one I can't.
So wait, when you are saying you were dating, what exactly were you doing?
I was dating with an intention of courting her and marrying her.
So as you're defining that dating,
yes,
what did it entail? What did that dating entail?
Just getting to know that person, not going to not committing myself to that I want to marry you. I have not told her I want to marry you. I'm just getting to know this person. Just getting, and I don't think there is any sin in trying to know someone.
So you can still say you had a friend who said something that threw you off.
So anyway, I think everyone has their own opinion, but I think for me, just to simplify it, just as I said, Simba ako hapa, anaangalia kuna kale ka antelope, anajaribu kufuata ile inakuwa ngumu sana. It is too fast. Anajaribu kufuata ile anaona this one will not be enough. I have a large family. I'm giving an example. Alafu anaangalia anasema this one has enough fats. So if I take this one, I'm going to bring in nutrients in my family. You understand? So as a lion, anafuata sasa hiyo, anakimbizana nayo, anakimbizana. Ile nyingine ya kwanza alikimbia, akaona it is too fast, ikamwacha. Akarudi aka-strategize, akakaa chini. Sasa akakuja. So the process of now courtship ni kwamba umeshika sasa mnyama. Umemshika sasa, unaanza kusuffocate. Unaanza kusuffocate no other person wajuange kwamba you understand, nimeshamshika. Hayuko katika kukimbia tena, hayuko katika ile process ya dating. So that's how I would look at it. Alafu sasa nikishamuua kabisa ni kwamba I have married that person. So I'm eating. I can now eat the person. That's how I would look at it. But I don't know, but I'm not the final, you understand, the final authority in such terminologies. That is just my idea. And I also appreciate what Oliver has said and what Pastor James has said, because they are all true according to your line of thought. Yeah.
Oh, I just wanted to say that maybe in summary, dating is equal to courtship, courtship is equal to marriage. Like if there's an equation, if you can put to it. Anyway, I had an additional question to now the dating. Now, there's now how do I put Christians, ideal Christians as Pastor James put it. What would dating entail? Like if today I was a gentleman and I saw a lady and I wanted to tell them how I feel about them, do I have to tell them in front of the church or ask them to go out with me for lunch or a cup of coffee? And what happens when the lady is a bit reserved and doesn't want to go out, just the two of you? How does the gentleman go about it?
For me, before I give to Pastor James to now conclude, I think number one, if I see a lady here, and then I go and approach her before the people, before I tell her I just wanted to, I will start some rumors. Paminas has started, you understand, pursuing this lady, and I may not end up marrying this lady. So for me now to be wise, I have to isolate this lady from others and go somewhere, sit down, and just get to know who is this person. Who is she? How does she think about? Just asking questions without. Now, if maybe this lady had some preconceived thoughts that maybe you are going to marry her, I think it's also important that you tell her before you move to, if you found out that she is not your taste as a person. It is very important for me. It is very important that you end whatever you had started, that maybe she was thinking, vile ameni isolate hivi, maybe he had plans, maybe he wants to marry me, maybe, you understand? So you have to remove that from that lady's mind. You tell her, I was trying to look and to try and understand if we can. I think there should be no problem with you being frank with that lady and tell her, I thought maybe there was something, but for now, kindly, just forgive me. I thought we would rhyme. But right now, let us just remain as friends and members of the church, members of the body of Christ. Now, if you see me going anywhere else, don't think. And that is why it is important that you do not do anything with that lady in terms of investing anything in that. It should be just like getting to know. Don't invest your money. Don't invest anything. Don't start a business together. Don't do stuff together. You understand? So that there is nothing that will now become a problem between the two of you when you now want to move on and try to. I don't want to force someone ati ukiona msichana umeshamwambia twende tukunywe kahawa, then that lady is the one that you are going to marry. I don't want to tell anyone to do that. To end up getting people marrying the wrong people. So that's what I want to try and avoid. So as a good person, isolate that lady. It's a man, of course, that is that should be hunting. So isolate that lady so that you do not spill poison to the rest of the. Maybe you come back to the same atmosphere to try and get another person. So if you already spilled some poison here, then you may miss these other ones. Watajua tu kuna konga na simba hatari hapa. Watatoroka, you understand? So isolate her and then take your time. Exhaust all options in terms of asking questions. Hakikisha umeuliza maswali yote ile unataka kuuliza. Hakikisha umeomba hata Mungu kuuliza kuhusu this person, because there is no rush in marriage. Hakikisha umeomba Mungu, umefanya hii maneno yote before you finally say nilikuwa nafikiria maybe inawezekana, lakini I've seen it can't. Before I go to that step of now courtship, nimeenda kuambia wazazi nimeshakupeleka kule kwetu. Hapa kabla tu kama tu bado iko tu mimi na wewe as the only witnesses. Wacha tu terminate hapa. Before tuipeleke kwa another step. Avoid anything, mambo ya touching someone. Unaamsha mapenzi kabla wakati hajafika. Avoid such things. Nini? Wacha ikwe tu ni kwamba amekaa pale, umekaa hapa. Kama ni mahali pa kunywa chai, uliza maswali kama mtu wa kawaida. Just ask questions and get to know who's this lady before you finally now make the decision of now taking it to courtship. Ile kwamba now I have seen something beautiful in you. I've seen like you, with the way I've been talking to you, the way you have been, completing me in some things, the way you have been thinking, it is in line with what I've been thinking. You are the perfect match that I've been looking for. Now, can we go to that other step now? Now we are going to block. Paminas will no longer try to go and talk to any other person about anything to do with marriage. That you will never allow any man now to come and ask you anything to do with marriage. Anyone that comes your way, mwambie kuna mkuki imeshadungwa kwa hii moyo wangu. So the owner ndio ameidunga hapa ndio atakuja kuiondoa ama kunishughulikia, you understand? So now you go to that process of now courtship involving the church, the leadership ya kanisa and all that. Watu wajue, watu wawili watatu sasa wakuwe accountable. Kwa sababu tena nimesema not all courtships must end up in marriage. So watu wachache wajue. It should be something that at least people, not the entire church, but a few people. The entire church will come to know when you're announced there. So Flani and Flani, do you know his name? Yes. Flani and Flani, do you know her? Yes. Now, these people, they were lying to us, they are friends. But right now, we have seen that this man has changed. He now wants to marry her. Let the church now know in that level. But get a few people involved, the leadership of the church, involve the youth leadership, involve the youth pastor. Now begin to go for introduction kwa wazazi. Kama akona any person of authority, maybe a sister in Nairobi or a brother in Nairobi, before you even go kule nyumbani kwao, maybe they are staying in Kisumu or somewhere else, maybe in Mount Elgon. At least someone there. Just tell them that at least there's something that has been happening. When you see sometimes your sister telling you that tumekuwa tukikuwa mahali, maybe we were just trying and think and plan a few things, but have brought her safely. We have not done anything wrong. We are just trying to see how this thing can work. And now you begin to go to the parents, then you begin to do other stuff. And then from there on, now you can marry, and then you can enjoy the fruits of marriage. So I think that's how I would approach it myself. But the professor PhD, will deal with these things in a way a professor can deal with them.
Yes, when we invite the professor will do that. But what I want to do, I want to just try and look at what Pastor has said, and of course, it's a view that he has said, and he says people view it differently. And then I hope at the same time I'll be able to answer what Olive is saying. So I'm looking at this scenario, and Olive, not Olive, those Olivettes that are outside there that are listening, or those that would want to hear that answer. I may not mention it directly because the question is, what does that dating and courtship means to a Christian? And you see, the one thing that we need to know as Christians is that all these people here, they're children of God, number one, right? So that if, as a young man, I'm approaching a girl or a lady, first of all, at the back of my mind, I know this is God's daughter. So the same way a father would be offended if I'm to take his daughter for a ride, God will not take it easy on me if I'm to mess up with this girl in any way. And so for that reason, when I'm in a church setting, I will have to be very careful how I deal with these people, because number one, you see, ladies are not like men. Ladies are emotional. There are things that you will tell them, that will begin to create certain impressions on them. That's why sometimes you get some young men, and when they are so busy greeting only one person and they have no intention, you tell them, diversify. Let the person also understand you can also greet others, because in the course of time, you begin to create expectations that may never be met. You see? So, when you look at this setup as a church, of course, the basic level, yes, we are first of all born again, we are brother and sister. And then, of course, amongst ourselves, we will have to get married one point in time. Hata ukijifanya wewe uko chuma sana, as long as wewe unajua you are destined to be married, ukiachwa na ule mtu mwenye unaonanga this one, hata kukiendaje iwezekani, within a period of time you'll start developing feelings, because that's how we are. So, in the course of time, as we interact and do these things, kuna time yenye inafika, because we don't just come to church and go home. We have sections. Like now we know we have a youth breakfast. We go for retreats. We go, for evangelism. We do cleanups. You see, this is a good opportunity for you to learn somebody. Because if you are calling me out, and telling me, let's go and take tea. I will pretend, Bwana. I will pretend. And if you are asking me, what do you think about this? And at the back of your mind, your aim is to get to know me. That already is, I will bring out the best form of me, because I want to impress, you see. But when we are there and we are playing, we've gone maybe for a retreat, we are running, and then maybe it's a lady, ameshindwa, unaona vile ana behave, vile ana react, umeona character yake in true, hajaficha kitu, or you've gone out to evangelize, unaona vile ana behave, or you're doing clean up, unaona attitude yake towards kazi, hapo hata hujasema kitu, hauja spend anything, you're already learning a lot. So at that level, you're unaweza friend zone. So after you have seen and you see the benefit of friendship, you can have so many friends. You don't have any limit. Hakuna mtu atakuuliza, because you're talking to this one, you're talking to that one. You're doing all these things and nobody has any expectation. So the moment you decide that you want to call somebody na uende na yeye mahali, it's because you're already zeroing in. You're not going there to chance. It's not like, unless kama sasa umefika church the same day, umeona maybe Olive, and you say, I want to know this girl, she looks cute. You see? And you see that one, there is a risk already, because umemwona the first time. You see? But after you have done all these things together and you've spent time and you have been there together, and then you have umemwona, kuna kitu umejua about the person even without kabla hujamuita, sio jina yake tu na unajua ni brown and she's curvaceous. No. There is some things kama huyu madam Asira Mungu anafaa msaidie. Anakasirika haraka. You see? So kama unajua hawezani na Asira, au utajisumbua hapo, unampeleka out mfanye nini? Mwende mkunywe kahawa mkiambiana nini? Na wewe unajua hapa hautaweza. You see? So you avoid that person altogether. Hapa unajua hata kukienda aje, unless Mungu aniambia audibly, misioni. You see? Na hapa hakuna kitu umefanya.
And then when you go there, ukianza by the time unampeleka the first coffee, it's not ile to waste time. Maybe you're trying to gather courage. You're pulling a Edwin. You're trying to gather courage, ukikakaa around here for some time, unapata hiyo courage ya kumwambia vitu zenye unataka kusema. And then as you're doing that, you're not doing that huyu unamwambia hivyo, and then next week umechota kengine umepeleka, the other week umechota kengine umepeleka. And you see, that's what the misconception about dating. So siku hizi mtu akikwambia nipe date, it means different things to different people, because to some it may mean I want to know you with the probability of getting to marry you. But kwa ule mwenye alikuwa friend yako for some time, by the time unamuinvite, unajua umepata kuna wale watu hata mmeanza kukaa pamoja, hujasema kitu, umeanza kumfeel, umeanza kumfeel. By the time unamuita hiyo date, kukataa inakuwa ngumu. Lakini ile tu umemstua hivi, I want to take you somewhere, and this is the shy kind. You lie bana, ataenda aje? Tayari she's already shy. Akujui, aja kuona sana muje interact, umemwambia muende out. Kufanya nini? Anaona huyu jamaa anaweza kuwa amenipangia vitu zenye haziko, he has ulterior motives. But when you've been there, you have played, you have gone for missions, there is something, una ile tu ile, yani unajua wase wanapendana lakini hakuna mtu amesema kitu, By the time you go for that date, inakuwa date yenye sasa inaanza kuzero in kabisa. Unaonyesha nyewe niko na my friends wengi, tunaongeanga, and even the person can see, we talk, we do all these things, but there is a difference in this particular person. So that one, when you talk about dating, it's different from friendship, all of them are the same level, but dating, huyu umemwisolate, umemleta karibu, and then as you continue, see, sasa hapo ndo unaanza kumjua. Kuna vitu zingi si ati umuulize lazima ati unapendanga kala gani. Umeshaona huyu madam anapendanga blue, she has already so many blue things. Hata ukitaka kumbaia gift, si ati tunakuja kumuuliza unapendanga kala gani. No, by the time you bring blue, you've already scored. You see, and hii haukuwa kitu invest. And then the other risk of ile ati ukipata, ukisema dating, ukisema ule you can enda na mtu ndio umjue, that is a risk, because how many people will you have to go out with before uwajue na ukubali? And then the other thing, you see, ladies, as I've said, ladies are emotional. By the time Fataki umechukua msichana wenyewe umeenda, hata hujafanya kitu kubwa, umembaia hata kama ni milkshake, hajawahi kunywa kwa maisha yake, wewe unafikiria ataenda nyumbani akikuwa tu hivyo tu, ati alikuja tu hivyo? Something has already happened. Ameona there is something you've seen in me, I'm different. You've already started building expectations. So if you do that, and then you do another, and then you do another like that, that is why when they have their kamkunji, wanakuambiaga nini? Huyu jamaa,
no, but I said,
anaenda, mimi sisemi yako, hii ni yangu, this is different. You see, wanasemanga huyu jamaa is not serious. Because why would you go to that extent? You're even spending money on them, na hakuna kitu unamwambia. So ile siku unajifanya ati uko serious, unakuja, hakuna mtu anashughulika na wewe, because wamejua wewe ni joker. But if you do your assignment uko mbali, and then at the same time as you're watching, you're also praying. You're praying and your eyes are open. Na unaona. You see, hata kama una courage, by the time unafika pale, hata ujui vile maneno inasemeka, na unasema, because kuna mahali Mungu amekusaidia pia. And then after that, by the time umemwambia, hakuna mtu mwingine akona expectations. You don't have to explain so many. Unajua kuna watu wengine hapa leo wakideclare ati I'm interested in this one, they love to explain a lot of things. Because kuna watu wamefanya, wameenda na ema date, wengine wameenda even in big places. So you have to explain. But kama hujaifanya kitu kama hiyo, ule narrow down to, ndio umeenda. Na hii ya friends, kama ni friends, usimuite peke yake, basi wakuja wawili watatu, and then wewe aim yako unajua mimi naangalia na observe, ama unatafuta chali mwingine, unasema tu ya youth, nataka tuende tukunywe. Unajua vile tunakuanga hapa hivi, maybe after prayer and fasting, mkipita hapa hivi, unabaia wase, unajifanya unabaia wase, alafu unahakikisha mwenye unataka ako hapo, and then una observe. Hapo hakuna investment umefanya towards one person. And then when you know the character of the person, you know the conduct, unajua hii hata date nyingine ile hawana haita materialize. Sababu gani? Kuna wengine ukienda hivi akijua uko na pesa, itaisha bwana. Anataka hii. By the end of the day unaona hii hapa for now, siwezi make. You see? Na hautakuwa umefanya vitu mingi, na hauta have ku raise many expectations and meet none. Unapeleka hao wote, alafu suddenly unachomoka na kamoja nje. Watu watakuwa tu na zile za hata huyu mwenye yako hapa tunamhurumia kwa sababu gani? Vile hao waliona. Yeah? So me I think for a Christian the best way, kama unajua hauna interest, wewe nyamaza tu, usianze hata kusumbuana na watu sisi tuende tukunywe coffee nini, unless you just find a way of doing it when you are in a group, because the moment umeita mtu peke yake amesha stand out, na isikuwe ati hiyo ndio point yenye unataka kumjua, mjulie tu huko mbali mbali, then ukimwona ukishaona amekunice mwambie by the way I like you, then you move on, you start dating, and from today sijui utaisema aje, wewe utajua lugha yako, usingoje Fataki ati nikupatie mamistari, utajipanga hapo, and then from that day when you start mkiendelea, so after some time of course wengi ukiambia kila mtu, that's when you introduce maybe to your brothers, then after that unamwambia babako kuna mtu mahali, then after that ndio wanakuja wanaonana physically, then nalipa mahari, then you marry. Olive nimejaribu hata kama ni 2.5 out of 5.
Hapo bado mimi niko na issue na hii ya nini. Yeah, me I think singling out you can never know someone in a crowd. Single them out. There is a risk in singling them out, but if you cannot risk, then you will not get the best. Single them out, be mature, be straightforward. Ask kana mtu, just try to know this person. Kama haita work, mwambie mimi na do it na in a godly way. Do it in a godly way. Malizana na hiyo, enda kwa nyingine if it will not work. But I'm not saying atakuwa na tabia ya kutafuta huyu. The problem ni kwamba sometimes ukianza hapa na hapa kuna wengi, it creates an environment ambao sasa hakuna mtu yeyote atakaye kutrust kwa hiyo nini setting. So chochote ambacho unaanzisha, before you move to any other thing, komesha. Anything that you begin.
But again the other thing. Unajua ukianzisha alafu ukomeshe. Try and imagine this girl. Kuna mtu alikuja akaanzisha, akakomesha. Amekaa mwingine tena akakuja akaanzisha, akakomesha. Amekaa mwingine akaanzisha akakomesha. Wewe unafikiria yule msichana si ataanza kuona hii kitu? Kwanza men are not serious. Ile mentality ya men are itaanza kusink because men are, kwa sababu kitu ame experience personally. Lakini kama hajawahi sumbuliwa, by the time mtu ameanza kuna roho in akijua I'm interested in this one, labda baadaye ikiendelea ikatae for whatever reasons. Maybe unajua kuna wengine, I have a friend who wazazi walikataa because where the girl came and the man, and then I think the girl sided with the parents, and that's how iliisha, you see, unless kitu kama hiyo. Lakini as for them, kama hakuna kitu kingine ya kuwasumbua, when you just befriend them from afar, ukianza kumuita karibu, unamuita ukiwa na intentions, no. It is easier, it is safer.
Pastor James Apostle, ninaanguka kwa mafuta yako. Nilikuwa nasema hivi singling them out does not necessarily mean umchukue umpeleke kwa hoteli mkae wawili. You can just be even walking, just hapa kwa church. You can just be sitting in the church, mkotana watu huyu mnaongea tu, just as friends. Just getting to know, how does this lady think?
So you're saying the right thing, friends. When you're saying friends,
no. Watch na hiyo. Ndio hiyo tu friends. Si ndio mimi, kwani will you marry someone that is not your friend? You marry someone that is your friend. Yeah, you marry someone that is your friend, someone mwenye mnaweza ingiana naye, someone that after sex you can laugh with. After you have finished that sort of ultimate thing that people think about, sex, you can still laugh with that person and talk with that person. Kwa sababu sasa ikishaisha umeshapata ile nini, if you cannot talk to this person, you cannot laugh with this person, then you understand, after you have gotten the ultimate reward, you can still stay with this person, you can still laugh with them, because there is nothing else that you're looking again. Sasa umekuwa satisfied for that particular time, you understand, but you can still, you understand. So sasa ile unakaa na mtu umekaa umeongea naye, of course mimi nirafikia kila mtu hapa hivi, lakini mimi in my time I had so many ladies ambao walikuwa kwa pale, na sometimes ulikuwa unajipata unatembea tu na mtu mnaongea tu, just try to understand huyu anafikiria gaje, huyu akoaje. Unajaribu pia sasa ile unajipata uko na Irene, unajipata the way this lady is thinking, the way she's answering, the way she's this one, naona ni kama ko different na wale. Sijasema nataka kukuoa, but mimi kivyangu tu mwenyewe ninajaribu kufind out ni nini iko ndani ya huyu lady. Unajua hii ya kusema tu tukue marafiki kwa kanisa hapo, mtu anaamka pale anasema haleluya hosana, anakuja nakaa chini, nimemwona ako sawa. My friend, you will end up marrying a demon in the house. Ama utachukua mtu atakuficha, but just getting to know and to understand. Although I think what Pastor James is saying is correct, and what I'm saying I believe also is correct. It depends with your angle of how you want to look at it, because mimi kile nafikiria hapa ni kwamba what he's saying and what I'm saying is just the same. The difference ni in the definitions of dating and courtship. Lakini sisi wote tumekubaliana usianzishe moto ya kwamba I'm going to marry you. Hapo umeshaanzisha, alafu unaacha tena unaenda kwingine, I'm going to marry you. Unaanzisha. I've seen quite a few men mess somewhere, not here. This resurrection temple, it has holy people. Somewhere else. I've seen some people mess somewhere else. Anaanzisha kitu, anaanzisha. Alafu sasa inakuwa ni shida. Inachafua the whole church. Ule mtu anakuanga mbaya. I'm not talking about that. We are all in agreement that usianzishe kitu na unajua hii hautazima hii moto. Usianze kuamsha mapenzi kwa msichana wa mtu. Mwambie mimi nataka kukuoa. Unaanza kutembea na yeye. Unamwambia mimi nakupendanga, mimi nataka kukuoa. I'm planning to marry. Umeshamwekea hiyo kwa akili yake. Whether verbally or non-verbally. The way you do things, the way unamwangalia, the way umeshamwekea kwa akili yake, alafu unamwacha. That one is now wrong. Mimi nasema tu hii ya kawaida just to get. So the difference hapa between what Pastor James has said and what Oliver said and what I'm saying is in the term dating and courtship. So from my understanding of courtship and dating, I think I'm right. And from the understanding of Pastor James and Olive of courtship and dating, they are also correct.
Wow, that was so deep. You went into details. You can mention every details you could mention. I was just listening and absorb all kind of knowledge and wisdom coming from these three people of God. That was so powerful. There's this one question. How do you know this is the one? When you look at this person, how do you know this is the one? Does God come and talk to you verbally like, my son, this is the lady, my daughter, this? Ama do you see it in a vision? Ama you pray, they say, God, I want that guy to have a blue shirt, then I go and watch, I'll have to watch Yangoke, I'll come and pick it. Like, how do you know that this is the one? Olive, how did you know that Edu was the one? From all the potential, maybe, from all of the potential guys when you really try kukuja kwako, how did you know that this is the one?
He was tall and with beards.
Yeah, I think it's different for different people. That analogy, sijui white shirt, it's similar to, I think it's Moses who asked God for dew and dry grass. I think it's similar to that, and it can work if that is what you believe in. Personally, I think I knew that he was because give us the James. No, the scene. First of all, I picked a system from Pastor Paminus. Oh no, Irene, but from Pastor Paminus, because they talked about what you would want. Note it down, commit it to God, then God presents as it is. Another way that I knew, that was now, yes, I did all that whole process, and I think only just one didn't check out. And then from the other people that were in the list, hey, tano ziko, sita ziko. So that's how it was. The other thing is I also talked to people very close to me to pray about it, and I got quite a number of what can I say, people who got yes, I got quite a number of confirmations from those people, and I had not. Okay, one scenario is this. There's one of my friends who we were praying about it with them, and on the just one of the she had not met Edwin. No one had met Edwin actually. So when now we were talking, and now she told me while we were praying about it, God revealed to her that the person was going to marry me. This was very funny. Aliona akiniletea they were going for a trip. I was already married to them. Na ameleta a box of chocolates. Then nikakuja nikampea moja. So on that day, before she told me that dream, I got the box of chocolates. Okay, not really a box. It was a number. No, a number. And I went to her house and I was giving her the chocolate. Then she was, now of course now, I saw this and it's of my vitu zote. But that's just one of them. So you can know in different ways. Mimi, those were my ways of confirming. I just I needed a lot of those confirmations, and I prayed to God about it, and I got a number because I didn't want to make the wrong choice, because it's crazy when you make the wrong choice. So yes, that's what I would say. But even that one, for the do and what, it works. I think there's a time I prayed to wear the same color with someone, to know that they are not, and we wore the same. It's like, thank God. So it depends.
I like that. No, tukiangalia story ya vile anaongea hivyo, I think that is good, and that is what happens in some cases. What ile ningesema tena ni kwamba there are some things that however much you pray for, God will never reveal them to you. And there are some things, whether you like it or not, God will do them, will answer them, whether you pray, and atafanya tu somehow, itajulikana tu. And there are some things that utakosa kuomba, utaomba na hata usiziombe na zitafanyika tu. Now kuna story ya nani, ya Abraham na Isaac. He sends who, anatuma nanienda, alafu huyo jamaa, huyo mtumishi wake anasema nini, nikipata mtu atafanya hivi na atafanya hivi na atafanya hivi na atafanya hivi. Mungu acha basi yule akwe ule. You understand? So you know that story. And then when he goes there, unapata mambo inafanyika. So there's a way God can guide you as a person, and you will know this is the person that God has called me to marry. Na kabisa unaona kabisa wanaingiana. You see Isaac and the wife waliishi maisha mzuri. We can see that. But now look at Jacob. Wakati anaenda wapi? We need to be reading the Bible. Ni wapi huko? Kwa Laban. Sasa what happens? Ni kwamba anaona kale kamsichana, anasema God, msala ameiva. Alafu anaangalia ongea, anasema hii macho huko, aspendi macho, istaki. You understand? So anamwangalia, anasema huyu ndio mimi nataka. Alafu sasa anaambiwa fanya miaka 7. Anafanya kazi miaka 7. Sasa ile kwa kitanda usiku hivi anangojea sasa wamletee ule, anakuja ako na mahanja yote. Kwa mka asubuhi anashangaa, niletewa macho. You understand? So anaambiwa sasa tena, sasa ule ndio utawakia. So kuna wale wengine, ukiangalia story ya nani, ya huyo mke wa kwanza, ule mwenye alipenda sana, mke wa pili mwenye alipenda sana, na ule wa kwanza mwenye hakupenda sana. Kuna some things ambazo ukiangalia kabisa utajua, you can tell from a Christian perspective, utaangalia tu. There are some people, ukweli usemekane, wewe mwenyewe unaweza kuwa haujampenda sana, haujamthamini sana, haja kuingia 100% as a human being, lakini huyo ndio sasa mke wako ama mume wako. We have had stories of a person that was in is it Canada, sent to another church in Congo, for example, and found a ballooning lady. Mungu anamwambia sasa huyo msichana ndo atakuwa mke wako. Huyo anasema hakuna, mimi sio kitu kama hii. This balloon, I did not want a balloon, I wanted a wife. Haya, anachukua kama mwingine hapo hivyo, kama konde kazuri, anaenda nako wapi? Canada. Sasa ile anafika tu hivyo, after 2 months ama 3 months, that lady dies. Mungu anamwambia, I told you your wife is where? That balloon. Go back. Sasa huyu jamaa anakuja anachukua that balloon. I'm just giving I'm not doing this to ridicule yes, but the issue ni kwamba I'm just trying to give the story so that we can understand. So sasa ile anakuja anachukua huyu balloon, anaenda na yeye huko hivyo. Somehow when they come back to visit that lady, somehow Mungu alinyonya tu ile mafuta yote, nyama zikaenda the right places, and now this lady is now that beautiful lady that you kumbe. You understand? So there are some people that you may not necessarily like as a person. Wewe mwenyewe as a person huwezi kuwapenda vile, lakini Mungu anataka uwaoe. Mungu ameongea na wewe. So what I would say, number 1, be sensitive to the leadership of God, what he says to you. Na kuna wakati mwingine Mungu anaweza kosa kuongea, unajaribu, Mungu niambie kama ni wewe ndo nitaoa, Mungu nimeenda kufunga miaka 7, niambie kama wewe ndio nitaoa, na nyamaza. Lakini wewe una feel huyu mzana mimi naweza kumuoa, so utangoja tu uendelee kuomba 21 years later ndio sasa Mungu aseme ndio ama hapana, because there are some things that God will not answer. So there are some things that because God has put the spirit of the Lord in you, ameweka ndani yako, make some decisions praying to him and telling him, God, nimechukua hii na nimedecide kufanya hivi, I've seen this as the right way, and I pray that you stamp this and you move forward as a person. Mimi vile huyu anasema, Irene wrote down some points, only one did not match, lakini zingine kwa ameandika vitu zingine tu za kijinga. For example, kama akwe mwanamuziki, sijui akwe aje, akwe mrefu wangu kidogo, sijui akwe namna gani, all those things they matched except one. But na mimi naye sikuandika. Mimi nikuja tu church. Mimi nikaona kuna there is a lady yako pale kwa pulpit. The first day, if you are talking about at physical, at first love, at not I wouldn't really say, okay, if you are talking about physical attraction, I can't say to you that was physical attraction. Mimi yani tu kwa sababu kuna wakati ulikuwa naona Irene amevaa a certain t-shirt imemvaa mpaka huko chini, it's too big, it's too baggy. You understand? So if we were to say physical attraction at that time, ile mara ya kwanza hiyo, I wouldn't say that would have been the case. But issue ni kwamba tu nilikuja pale nikasikia tu ninavutiwa na huyu msichana. I don't know why, but I just felt there was a connection between me and her. Kumbe yeye ameandika kwa kitabu mtu akue hivi, na mimi sijawahi kuona hiyo kitabu. Alinionyesha baadaye ndo nikaona. But sasa mimi nimekuwa attracted na mtu ako pale kwa pulpit just because of the way she was singing. You understand? There is a certain song ambayo nilikuwa napenda she used to sing. So I used to write it kwa kitabu na niandika. Kuna mahali sikuwa na understand what it means, na hiyo time sikuwa nimechanuka mambo ya internet and stuff like that, so I didn't get the lyrics, but I would get the lyrics from her whenever she led the song. Somehow ndo naambianga watu I thank God for Dr. Emily. Dr. Emily hiyo siku moja sana anakuja anasema, worship team, go and greet those people that are down there. Ninaona Mungu analeta Irene kwangu, Irene anakuja ananisalimia. That's why I thank God for Dr. Emily. Pastor Emily, God bless you and expand your. Ulinisaidia kupata huyu msichana. Number 2, tena siku ya pili tunasema go and say hi to the people. Tena anakuja chini anaanza, what is your name? Naambia Pamina. Sasa what? Paminas. Mimi najua basi mimi. So somehow we began friendship from there. Somehow we began to be friends, and then later on, sasa hii kulikuwa tunakukosana and so many other things, but we later on got married. So what will happen for me will not necessarily happen for Olive, it will not necessarily happen for Pastor James. But the issue ni kwamba Mungu akikosa kukuongelesha, usilazimishe Mungu aongee mahali amenyamaza. Usimlazimisha aongee. Mungu amekuwekea roho wake ndani yako. So you can just, with that conviction in your heart, go ahead and marry that person. Na kuna wakati mwingine Mungu atakuonyesha kitu ambacho wewe haupendi. Mungu anakuonyesha msichana kabisa, unaangalia unaona hizi macho zake nazo zinakaa tu fani, hizi ndio atakuja kuambukiza watoto wangu. Lakini kumbe ndio sasa huyo Mungu anataka umuoe. Na haujui atakuwa nini katika maisha hapo mbele. How she will benefit you, ama how she will become something very powerful, someone very powerful in your marriage. You understand? So go ahead and listen to the voice of the Lord. So kuna ile utaomba, Mungu atakujibu. Kuna ile unaweza kosa kuomba na Mungu anakujibu, anakuletea tu kitu, anakuletea tu mtu hata hujaombea. There are so many people that are married today that never prayed for their marriages, na wameoa na wamedumu katika ndoa. So kuna wengine utakosa kuomba, utakosa kusema nataka Mungu nipatie mtu msena kwa hivi, ni ile tu ulienda tu mahali ukakutana na mtu. Although I'm not saying this to encourage prayerlessness, no, I'm saying we continue to pray because that is the way of a Christian. But kuna wale ambao hawakuomba lakini walipata tu wake, na kuna wale hata uombe namna gani my friend, Mungu ajibu amenyamaza. So tumia Roho Mtakatifu aliye ndani yako wewe, make a decision because God made you a man. Jacob akaona huyo msichana akasema huyu na hata vile tunaongea mambo ya Cain, vile alichukua msichana mmoja akaenda kuishi naye sijui wapi huko. Hatuambiwe aliomba, hatuambiwe alifanya nini, nasema tu he took him for himself, this one, and they went. What is important is this: when you're in marriage, learn to make your marriage work. Kwa sababu awe ni msichana mwenye ulipenda, awe ni ule ulionyeshwa kwa ndoto, awe ni ule Mungu alisema ndio huyu kabisa, awe ni ule haukuwa unapenda lakini Mungu akasema ni yeye, whether you like it or not, marriage must be worked for. For you to enjoy the benefits of marriage, work for it. Give the best for you to receive the best.
Oh yes, I have an additional question kidogo tu. In that context of prayer, what if one side prays and God says yes, the other side prays, God says no, and it's a very tight situation?
Now that is a sign of kuna uongo pale hivyo, kwa sababu mmoja wao anadanganya. Kuna watu huwa kwa sababu mtu ameona msichana sana kwa muda mrefu, ameona msichana sana, amemuona. So when he sleeps and he has been praying, kwa akili yake, kwa sababu alikuwa amemuona sana, anaona sasa nimeoa msichana na huyu msichana ndio huyu sasa nimemuona. You understand? Because that is the lady that he has been thinking about for so many years. Huyu ndio msichana, you understand? Hajawahi kutoa macho yake pale, ameweka tu pale kwa sababu maybe ya urembo ama ya kitu fulani, yani amempenda tu as a person. Sasa akilala akiota anasema God has spoken to me. Not all dreams are from God. Some dreams are from your own your own thoughts, what you were thinking about before you slept. Sasa God is not God of kuji-contradict. He cannot contradict himself. Kwamba anaongelesha huyu one thing, alafu anaongelesha huyu another. It would mean that we are not in safe hands. It would mean that hata hii sacrifice yenye Yesu alifanya, my friend, tuko kwa tabu. Sababu he can change his mind anytime. So God ni ule akispeak, amespeak. So issue ni kwamba wewe na huyu mwingine mwenye anakudanganya na huyu mwenye anasema ukweli, we investigate tujue gani hapa ndio iko ukweli, and because they are servants of God and they are other people, God will speak to them. So when it reaches such levels ambapo mtu anakuambia amesema Mungu na wewe unasikia Mungu amekataa, involve people that can pray with you, servants of God, involve other people, friends that can pray with you in confidentiality. Usiende ukaanika hiki kitu, sasa umeenda kwa kesha unasema Bwana Yesu asifiwe, nataka tuanze kuomba, kuna mtu fulani aliniambia ananipenda, so tuanze kuomba kama hapana. In confidentiality, let it ikue katika siri kwanza mpaka saa ile Mungu atajibu. Mungu akijibu, you just come out, utajua huyu ni mwongo na huyu ni mkweli. God cannot lie. So this juncture, I want to welcome the professor, the servant of God. Nimeanguka kwa miguu mpaka hata nimeamua kulala kwa miguu ya mafuta ya mtumishi wa Mungu.
Manago, how did you know that your wife was the one?
Iko na testimony.
Wow, it's interesting. How did I know? I'll start from there. I think for me at some point I really used to beat my chest. I would say, mimi hakuna msana anaweza nikataa. And shock on me, nilikataliwa mara kadhaa. Hata wengine nilikuwa third year kako first year na kana nikataa. You know, so I was like, nilikuwa confident sana, nilikuwa naona mimi even a girl to get me any privilege, so mimi hakuna msana anaweza nikataa. So nikakataliwa mara kadhaa, na mimi nilikuwa najua nikienda campus by the time I leave I'll have my wife with me. Sikuwa najua nitakuwa mahali pengine. So naenda niko karibu kufika fourth year, hakuna mtu. Hey. So nikaona after ujanja yote hii nimetupa mbao. And then I used to have a mentor. He told me almost what Olive was told. And then he told me, you know, I think sometimes we go wrong. And then he told me that, and he told me how he also did it for him. So I decided this time around now, this is the final. Hakuna njia ingine, ujanja yote nini hakuna. You know, and I went and I sat down and I wrote down some qualities. Then what he told me is, when you write down those qualities, make sure ukiandika kama ni 7, on the other side zile unataka kutoka kwa ule mtu unaandika 7, and what you can also give, because marriage is two way, sio kitu ya one way. Ukisema vile unataka peke yako, ule mtu mwingine ataanguka sana, because atakuwa anakupea na wewe hakuna kitu na give back. So when you write for those, whatever you write, hata ukiweka list ya 50, make sure what you give also gets to 50. And then as you're praying, you're not praying and telling God, I just want to marry. You know, I want to marry this kind of person. I want the person to be. Of course, born again, you're going to negotiate. Maybe a person who is responsible. Mtu anaweza make decisions. I want a person who is you know, you write down those qualities vile unataka, and then sasa unakuja unajiangalia. Sasa hapa ndio pia you have to be true with yourself, because huwezi sema unataka hizo vitu zote na wewe aweki kitu. Unasema pia vitu zenye utaweka, na zingine unaangalia unaona man, hapa hivi najiamini ama naamini Mungu naweza ipeana hii kitu lakini sina. So as you're going to pray, you're not only praying for that person, you're also praying for yourself. If these things you've written that utapeana haziko, Mungu akusaidie uzicultivate, so that when you meet that person, then these things zitakuwa kwako, so that as much as they are giving, you're also giving. So that's what I did, and every morning when I wake up, that's what I would pray for. I would pray. And among the things that was very key for me, unajua mimi, many people around me walikuwa wananiambia mimi nitakuwa pastor. Mimi naambia hiyo sawa kabisa, because sikuwa nataka kuembrace. Naambia mimi labda church elder, that one can't happen. So some of the ladies turned me down, because in their minds they felt this guy is going to turn out to be a pastor, and for them they wouldn't want to be married by a pastor. So eventually I had to really sit down and ask myself, what if it is true? What if it happens? What happens? It means from as early as now, I need to look ahead and prepare for a person who will be comfortable to live with somebody like this. So nikika kwa list yangu, that was also among those things. So ikafika mahali mpaka hata nikianza ile tu, as you're talking, interacting with the ladies, hivyo tu, ukianza tu kuona attitude yake towards pastors, unajua hiyo ni excuse hata kabla hujaambiwa na mtu, au kuji kusumbuana na yeye ati ndio unamconvince about. Actually my wife was the first one mimi alisema she wouldn't mind getting married to somebody who would be a pastor. So by the time tulikuwa tunaongea tu hivyo, nikasikia vile anasema, nikaona attitude yake, mimi kwa roho yangu nilikuwa nishaweka tiki kubwa, lakini bado sijasema kitu. Ilikuwa tu ile bado interaction, you know. And then sasa by the time we started now dating, ilifika time nilikuwa tu, we were together, and then nikatoa kwa karatasi kalikuwa kwa wallet, ndio mahali popote pale naenda nikichapa prayer niko nayo naichomoa, unaona. So akaniuliza unaangalia nini? So I was, and it was just fun, hizi vitu tuliombea, and then finally this is what it came to. And then vile nikampatia, hata yeye akaniambia those are the things that she really wanted in a man. Zile mimi nilikuwa nimeandika, nikasema I would want to give, you see. So you see, that is one way. And what I would say, the problem unapatanga many young people at how do you know the person, ni vile mtu anataka kuoa na hata ajue anataka kuoa mtu anakaaje. Because sasa kama unasema Mungu nipatie tu bibi, chongo akikuja utamuoa, si utakataa, utasema mimi sikukwambia I wanted anybody but not anything, you see. So you have to very very specific. That's why mimi naambiaga watu, nikiongea na watu, that's what I advise, you know, that's what I advise. Hata kama you are 20, maybe you want to marry at 30, start ukijiangalia unataka kuwa mtu aina gani, and then start praying. Hizo ndio prayer sasa zenye unaomba before, so that by the time mtu anakuja hakuna kudanganyana, I'm going to pray. You've been praying. By the time the person presents himself, unajua this is what I want, this is not. Kama hakuna kujisumbua. Unasikia ati wasichana wengine ama watu wengine wanasemanga ati kuna mademu 5 unashindwa kuamua. Ni kwa sababu uko umejipanga, ulikuwa tu umekaa ukastukia, kuna watu 5 hapa wenye, ama kama ni a lady, 5 guys wameleta ma CV zao wote at the same time. Kama ulikuwa unaomba na ulikuwa uko na preference, utajua hakuna haja uanze kuangana na mtu hata kama ako na pesa nini ama ako na kitu fulani, because unaona it is convenient for them. Unaangalia ile what you've been praying about, you see. So as you pray, unaambia pia Mungu akuguide. Kama mtu kama huyo hayuko karibu na wewe, umulete. Kama ako mbali mahali yako, mkutane na akusaidie, mkikutana uweze kumjua. By the time wewe pia utaanza ku focus on them, pia yaone. So I think hata Pamela sasa yako anajua labda ni maombi ilikuwa inamuita, because sasa yeye anapata tu amependa mtu suddenly, na huyu mtu kuna list yake mahali na alikuwa anaombea, you see. So by the time you do that, itakuwa ile margin of error inakuwa imereduce. Hakuna haja uwe mtu alafu baadaye ndio realize we are not compatible kwa channel na yeye. But when you have that list, inakuguide. Hata wewe ukianza kuona tu wasichana wengine ama some men, unajuanga tu this is not my type. Hautajisumbua ati unaenda kuomba Mungu unaonaje. Sababu tayari unajua sio. Sasa kama sio, hii kiti ni black, uende uombe Mungu ichange kuwe blue, itakuwa kesho hakuna, ni black bado, you see. So uta waste time yako hapo. And then of course the other important thing to note, ukishajua kenye unataka, and then wenye unauliza kama Mungu anaweza, God is not limited. But again, the problem with many people ni sasa ile anataka kuona ndo anataka atafute Mungu sasa. hii time nyingine yote ameishi vile anataka. Sasa ile anataka kuoa ndio anasema Mungu this time sasa it is you. Hata yeye ajui purpose yake in life, lakini anataka Mungu amwambie the kind of woman that God would want him to marry. How? Because Mungu akitaka uowe, kama utaona na the few people that I know that Mungu aliwaambia go and marry so and so, they had already known their purpose and God was directing them to people who would help them fulfill that purpose. One of them is Benihin. Yeye anasema vile alikuwa anaomba akitaka kuoa, Mungu akamwonyesha the wife. Yeye akasema hapana, kama ni yeye, let her tomorrow after I come from preaching, let her bring me cupcakes. Akapatiana some things hapo and it happened exactly like that. And they got married. And that's why unaona hata ilifika at some point wali divorce, wakakaa for a number of years. But they still remarried. You see? So, Benihin by the time he was coming to that setup, he already knew his purpose. So watu wengine wanasumbua Mungu bure. Si bure in the sense that they don't know what they want to do in life, what they are supposed to do. Lakini wanataka wajue the wife. But you see that wife is or should be part of the purpose. Kama hujui purpose na unataka kuoa na una haraka kujua purpose, usisumbue Mungu sana ati kuonyesha exactly who it is. Wewe enda tu uoe kwa sababu hata purpose yako haujui. In the sense that isikuwa ati unangoja Mungu akuonyeshe kwa ndoto aongee nini. And the other one is Morris Cerulo. For him, yeye walikuwa so in sync with the wife. Mpaka saa zile maybe yako ameenda mission, ameenda kupreach. Sasa ile anarudi na kwa mind yake anafikiria, man, I'm thinking I want to sell maybe one of our houses because of a project ya church. By the time anataka kupigia bibi yake amwambie, akimpigia bibi yake anamwambia nilishaweka hata kwa newspaper tayari, it's already on sale. Si ati lazima waongee. Unajua kuna wengine mnasumbuana hapo, mtu anasema wewe acha hiyo mchezo wako, kuja ufike hapa alafu tuongee, you know. But these people are doing things for them, it was very easy. So you see, that is another level. So me, what I tell young people, usingoje sasa ile unataka kuoa sasa hiyo ndo uanze. Hiyo itakuwa emergency. Unaanza kuomba kama uko na olive in mind, you know, oh God, I want, unamwambia nataka huyu mtu kwa sababu umeshaona sura yake. Na unajua vile wanaume tuko we are visual. So ukiona wewe unafikiria ukiona nani ako single ataona msichana mrembo, ako sawa, anapenda Mungu, alafu aache tu apite hivyo. Hakuna. Kama ni mzuri, it is even better when the person is with me.
Kwanza kuomba Mungu hakikisha hiyo asubuhi ana smile tu, if smile hivi najua she is the one.
Si ndio hivyo sasa. Sasa unaomba Mungu, lakini maombi ni kama ushajijibu tayari. Hey. So unataka tu yani ukuwe na kale ka feeling Mungu alikuwa involved. So unaiomba, ushajijibu. Lakini unajifanya unaomba ndio ukuwe na kale ka feeling, hata watu in case of anything unaweza blame Mungu, useme after all Mungu aliconfirm. Lakini wewe ulishajijibu hiyo maombi yako. Yeah. So better to prepare in advance. When you prepare mapema, hautakuwa na shida ya kujua. That's what I tell some people, but wengine wanaonanga labda wamezeeka sana, hawezi fanya kitu kama hiyo. But I've also seen, mi hata sikuwa najua hiyo kitu. I saw, what is his name? His name is this guy. Ule alikuwa na the biggest church in the world for long, Yonggi Cho. That's what he advised another lady. I came to read one of his book much later. And there was this lady that had been in church for many years, hakuwa ameolewa nini. Akamuuliza wewe unasema unataka kuoa mtu anakaa aje? And then vile akaandika hiyo list, then akamwombea. Anasema the next time he visited the church, the lady was married and by exactly the description that she had given. So the problem wengine wajaolewa ni kwa sababu they are not specific what they want. When you know and you pray, God guides you. Kwa sababu kama mimi in my instance ilifika mahali nikapata sasa wako wawili. Sasa naona huyu anakaa kwa sawa. Na pia nikiangalia huyu anakaa kwa sawa. Lakini kabla niende hata niongee na yeyote, I had to dismiss ule mwenye nilikuwa naona sio yeye. So that nikirudi huku in case of anything ikiumana, I'm going back to the drawing board afresh. So nikam-dismiss. Kwa sababu unajua ilikuanga ile hujasema kitu. Ile unajua ile friendship, ile kupigiana masimu, unajua hizo zote. Of course ndio nilikuwa nakwambia the moment unaanza kufanya vitu kama hizo una raise expectations. And of course by the time I was talking to her kufurahi sana because expectations ilikuwa anashangaa huyu jamaa akasema hii maneno yake lini. Alafu sasa jamaa anakuja kusema na bomoa hiyo foundation. You see, it was not easy. And hata nikimwambia ule mwingine sikuwa nimemwambia kitu. Meaning ule mwingine si mwingine, is my wife now. Kama ningeenda na katae story yangu, ningerudi kwa sababu huko sinishaharibu. Ningerudi back to the drawing board tena. Niambie Mungu sasa hapa lazima unisaidie. And when I dismissed her, now I went, nasema maneno yangu. Sasa ndio huyu mimi hapa 8 years down the line.
So Pastor James is a dismisser.
Guys, prepare in advance. So do not put God in a box. Ushaona mtu unasema this is the one, and then you say God, please. So don't put God in a box. So thank you so much, Pastor James, Pastor Pamnas, and Ole for accepting our invitation today. It has been a wonderful time, and I hope, guys, we've learned a lot. We've learned a lot about dating, marriage, what to do before and after, and they are mentioned that marriage takes work. You need to work your part. You need to do your part so that you may come to a common agreement, so that you may have a powerful and successful marriage. So as a Christian, we've learned that we need to have the scripture as the standard, as the reference point. So we don't just have to do things the way we want. And we've also learned that affection doesn't just involve the physical things. We can show affection in so many other ways. So it's been a good one. Today we've taken 2 hours, but we'll release this podcast in 2 parts of 1 hour each, because we cannot just give you 2 hours of content just like that, because we also need your mind to absorb content in a clean way and powerful way. So we'll release this episode in 2 parts. The first one, you'll receive it this Saturday. So thank you so much, guys. And also comment, tell us what you thought about today's topic, today's episode. Tell us what you've learned from this topic. And if you still have questions for future purposes, for future episodes, you can still send your question. You can DM me on my WhatsApp. But if you don't want me to know your name, you can still use the Kubul option, the way you've been doing it recently. You can send there anonymously. I won't know who asked what question. So thank you so much, guys. You can find our podcast on Anchor. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it now on Radio Public, and very soon you'll be finding it on Castbox. So, and it's also on YouTube, and all of them, just type Scott Fataki. You'll be able to be fed, spiritually and in whatever way, because this podcast is so insightful, it's so powerful, it's so inspiring and motivating. We are just telling you guys to choose the right way. They've spoken sense, they've spoken wisdom. Now it's up to you guys. What do? Do you want to do the physical way, affectionately with your girlfriend now before marriage? You know the answer to that. So you have to wait. You have to do each thing according to its own stage. So as girlfriends and boyfriend, don't do marriage stuffs when you're still dating. So when you're still courting, don't do marriage stuffs, because you're going to reap, the consequences of your actions, and you don't want even your children to suffer the consequences of what you're doing right now. So thank you so much, guys. See you next time with a different topic. Hopefully, by the grace of God, you'll still be there and share with anyone, share with your family, with your friends. Let this episode impact someone's life out there. We love you so much. God bless you. Bye-bye. Talk us.